First of all, we've got to think about the reasons why they've called in the first place, and in most cases people that call us have an expectation that the information that they give us will be kept confidential. Now that creates us an initial difficulty because clearly we can't use that information attributable to them in a way that would enter the evidential chain, whether that's for a licensing matter or whether it's for a criminal investigation matter. Well, ideally, we'd like to know who they are, so that we've got an understanding of who it is that we're talking to, we've got an understanding of where they've come from, perhaps what their motives might be in contacting us, and also in particular if we need to get back in touch with them again to either ask follow-up questions or to give some feedback as to what we've actually done with the information that they've provided with us. It would be a broad range of information in an ideal world about the matter that they're wanting to tell us about, but we're also wanting information that allows us to assess the information that they're giving, assess them as an individual in terms of whether they're reliable or not, what is their motive for actually contacting us, as to the accuracy of the information. So we'll be asking all sorts of questions to try and test, well, how would they know that information, where did they get the information from in the first instance, did they witness it firsthand, for example. But also, and in particular, we want to be able to ask information that allows us to assess any risks that there might be to that individual in terms of them as a person or their property or their business, because that determines what we then do with the information that we have. We record any information that we get on our intelligence database. It's recorded with a grade. We grade three different things. We grade how reliable we've assessed the information source to be, i.e. the person that's told us, based on the questions that we've asked. We'll then grade the value of the information, again based on the same sort of questions, and importantly we'll then assess, having made a risk assessment based on all the circumstances, whether or not it's safe to send that information, if we need to, anywhere else, either within the organisation or outside the organisation, and if we do, whether we need to impose any specific conditions on the receiving agency. It's a national standard process to do, which has recently been revised, and we're actually the first organisation or agency of any type across all of the law enforcement agencies to actually go ahead and use this process. It's important for us, so it enables us to make a proper assessment as to the accuracy and the reliability of the information, and to also to enable us to look for opportunities to how to convert that information into evidence that we can use as part of our investigations, and primarily to assess any risks that there might be to the information source. Categorically yes, it's secure in terms of how the information is captured and stored, and also specifically who has access to it at any given time. Well, first we have to assess whether there are any issues of immediate risk that we have to respond to straight away or fairly quickly. And if that's not the case, we'll then spend time looking at the information, researching our systems, perhaps making inquiries with other agencies, research of open sources on the internet, that type of stuff, to try and build up a case to the point where a decision can be made as to whether it justifies further action in terms of either compliance inspection activity, if it's a licensing matter, or if it requires an enforcement investigation if it's an allegation of a criminal offence. Well, we get a lot of information from a variety of different sources, and it would be unrealistic for us to investigate everything. However, what I can say is everything is assessed in the first instance. We look at a range of factors, an assessment of the reliability of the information, how accurate is the information, what have we been able to establish from our other inquiries. Does it relate to a business that we've previously had intervention with, either through compliance activity or through a criminal process? What was their response to that intervention? Were they a persistent offender, shall we say? And then we'll use a range of other considerations. Whether are there any other aggravating factors? Are there any risks in terms of harm? Do we have a witness, a reliable witness that's prepared to come forward? Lots of different things, and then that will inform the decision whether or not, on a priority basis, whether or not that case can go forward for an investigation. If not, we retain the information, and we will always revisit it depending on whether we get any new information that comes in. And so just the fact that we don't respond immediately to it now doesn't necessarily mean that we won't respond to it in the future if we get some further information.